What's up, guys? I hope everyone that's watching this video is doing well. Hope you guys are making money how you can. And I'm making this video because I was having a really interesting conversation with a coworker the other day, and it really got me thinking about the kind of current state of this economy. Whether you're a white collar worker, someone who works in like an office in the tech space, whether you're blue collar, whether you work as like an Amazon, box lifter, retail, Uber Eats, it doesn't matter. This economy has been tough for a lot of people. And I think the biggest reason why a lot of people are discontent and jaded with what's going on is because it feels like no matter how hard you work, you're simply not rewarded for the work that you're putting in. I was thinking of the way like our parents and probably our grandparents grew up, right? If you grew up in like the 1960s or maybe 1970s, you could be making 40K, 50K. Like if you're an engineer working in like the 1970s, you're probably making a 40K salary. But that was probably enough to have a wife, have children, start and raise a family, support your hobbies, have some disposable income to eat out, and more or less have a great life that's supported by the money that's coming in, right? You're able to live the middle income lifestyle with that income. And that was the only income you needed to survive in that world. Now let's like flash forward 40 years later, right? Me and you, we're living in 2024, 2025. What does that 45K, 50K income mean to us in this economy? Well, if you laughed in my face right now, you'd be right, man. A lot of us are working two or three jobs to survive. You're not going to be able to survive with a 45K income a year by yourself, more or less with a family, more or less with kids, more or less to support and pay for all those other things that come with that lifestyle, eating out, having hobbies. That's out the question today because the economy has changed so much, right? And what's kind of the point I'm trying to make in saying all this, right? I think in today's economy, the fact that it's been so difficult to make do with the 45K, 50K income, which represented like the middle class all those many years ago, it's signified by a lot of young people in my generation, Gen Z generation, late millennials generation, finding other ways to go ahead and get money. Whether that's being a content producer, making content, having a YouTube channel, having an Instagram presence, TikTok, finding other ways to generate an income outside of the traditional levers of society, right? You have these thinkers, these creators, these tinkerers that feel like not only do these traditional kind of pathways, not only are these traditional pathways not providing ways for you to make money and thrive, they also don't suit a lot of people and their temperaments and their skill sets, right? So a lot of tinkerers and oddballs and creatives, photographers, video makers, those that are able to take an idea and create a concept and a business around those ideas are the ones that have been able to thrive in this kind of digital economy in the last 15, 20, 25 years. And it's my thesis that you're going to see those type of professions continue to grow as we become more entrenched in this digital world, right? So what does that mean for the person who doesn't consider themselves creative? If you're not good with a canvas and a paintbrush, if you're not a singer, if you're not a great dancer, if you don't draw, if you don't paint, like I just said, if you're not a playwright, if you don't consider yourself a traditional creative, what are you going to do? I think the only way for you to have salvation and this new age economy where the traditional kind of levers of making money, the middle class route to becoming wealthy is almost like obsoleted. You're going to need to rely on other ways to make income, whether it's real estate, whether it's investing, whether it's content production, having a digital representation of yourself that's able to grow money and potentially be a business that you center your identity around, right? That's a skill that's going to be rewarded and validated. And if you want to escape the current system, which seeks to put you under their foot and make you reliant upon them, the current economic system, you're not going to survive. You're not going to make it. You're not going to thrive. And you're putting your children in a worse off place by not investing in other areas for you to get the most out of your natural skill sets. So, to my question earlier that I posed, what is the pathway to escaping this system and being able to exercise your freedom and enjoy this freedom? The key to this is a mathematical intensity of discipline. You need to be keyed in on being disciplined in whatever it is you seek to use as your way out, right? Let me be more specific. You need to find something to do outside of what you're doing as a 9-to-5 job. And that's like a very typical traditional thing to say. Like, you need to escape the matrix, you need to escape the 9-to-5, you need to escape the boss man, you need to escape the system. But reality is, right, you are what you put your time into. So if you have like an enduring mindset of something that you like. So for example, for me, right, like I'm a big runner. I run pretty frequently. I run every day. And off the strength of like my running habit that I've embraced and grown and endured through these like past like 5, 6, 7 years, like I'm able to enjoy some like side income from like modeling gigs, from running in races and events on the side that I hope down the line is going to bring me a career outside of my current job, which is working in the tech and business world, right? I work for a W-2 employer that pays me a pretty decent salary for working in tech, which is good. But like, as I just said earlier, even if you're like a white collar worker, your job isn't safe. Like all this AI stuff that Elon Musk and Trump and this administration is talking about should have everyone scared, right? Because what they're trying to do is essentially replace you with a unit of productivity that could be essentially performed by a variable on the balance sheet. And that variable on the balance sheet is going to be automation. It's going to be a robot. And what these guys are going to do is essentially do a math equation. If they can spend less money investing in the technological overhead and resources required to do your job for a robot, if they decide that the robot is going to be less expensive than you, you're not going to have a job to work anymore. So like I said, that applies to blue collar workers. You could work in a warehouse, or it could apply to tech workers, right? If they try to find a way to like automate the production of like software and code, then these super talented like software engineers that were told to go to school for 4 years and get a degree, they're going to be out of a job too, right? So this is something that like we're all dealing with in this economy, in this global economy, because this isn't just an American issue. This is an issue that's going to travel and spread across the world. So to my initial point, being a creative is a path that everyone can take advantage of, right? And being a creative essentially means having a mathematical, almost insane level of discipline and endurance to the thing that you like to do, and making it the thing that represents you until that thing becomes you, until that thing eclipses the thing that you're currently associated with. From a working perspective, your current job. The day that what you like doing, or the day that you're hobby or habit, you put enough discipline into it until it becomes an extension of you, and that extension of you can eclipse like that job. I'm probably not explaining it right, but what I'm trying to say is like the job that society has assigned to you based off like the lowest common denominator of your talent and abilities. It's not your destiny. It's not what, I don't care what your religion system is, whether it's the God or the creator or the universe, whatever you want to like say that thing is. The lowest common denominator of your skill set is not the destiny that's designed for you and allocated for you. You need to exercise some friction in terms of like finding out what that thing is going to do. What that thing is going to be, and taking life by the horns on an hour-by-hour basis, on a day-by-day basis, on a week-by-week basis, on a month-by-month basis. You're going to need to clock in and clock out for that skill that you want to cultivate and develop. And a year down the line, you'll be great at it, right? So think of an analogy of like running a marathon, right? If I were to start from scratch today as a zero runner, someone who's never run before, someone who's never laced up a pair of running sneakers, someone who's never ran 1 mile consecutively, right? And if I run 1 mile on the first day, right? And on the second day, I run 1 mile. The third day, I run 1.2 miles, right? And every day leading up until the marathon, 7 months, 8 months, 9 months from now, I'm increasing the distance that I run until the point on when I run on marathon day, I'm able to run all 26 plus miles effectively because I put the work in, right? That's habit formation. That's discipline building at a fundamental level, is clocking in and clocking out for the thing. Not that your employer says is important, right? Not that your lowest common denominator of what society and your parents and your friends and like popular culture has designated for you to find important. It's what is going to be your salvation in this economy, which seeks to identify the lowest common denominator of your skill sets and hone in on them and lock you inside that paradigm, because that's all society will find value for you, is if you do exactly what they define is important for you, right? Your job for your life is to determine what's important for you and live through that and live out that reality, right? And, like I said, it's going to take some time, right? So if you're working in like a warehouse right now, or if you're working Uber Eats, you're working stacking boxes, you're working in retail, right? Start with what you do after 5 p.m., right? So you got to build your discipline during work, assuringly, right? But after work, you're going to have time, right? What are you doing from 5 p.m. to 12 or 1 p.m., right? You have those 6-7 hours every day after work to invest in something that's going to define you, invest in something that's going to define your legacy, and more importantly, invest in something that's going to ensure a level of financial freedom, financial security, and emotional and creative output that's going to make you human, that's going to make you you, and leave behind a treasure for the next generation to look upon you and say, you know what? That person was more than what society, it's more than what society allocated for them. And that's what it takes to be great, is to look at your lot in life and say, you know what? There's more out there for me. And I'm not willing to sit there and take kind of the low rung of what this caste system and society says I ought to take, and I go above and beyond to eclipse what society has set out for me. And that's kind of all I have to say. I don't want to repeat my point here. Let me know if you guys kind of have any thoughts on anything I laid out. Yeah, economy has been tough for everyone right now, but I've been really leaning into like the content production, social media space to really kind of grow my career into, right? Because I'm 26 right now, and things are changing super fast with technology, with kind of how we see this world in these next couple of years, right? It's a really kind of unsure world, but we need to really be putting the work in to ensure that we're investing in ourselves to keep us safe and free from what's going to happen. But yeah, guys, that's kind of what I got for now. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll talk to you soon. See you.